Stay up past your bedtime. Space is proud to sponsor the Midnight Madness program at the 2007 Toronto International Film Festival. At the Witching Hour, get your fill of shocking and rocking films. The Midnight Madness program at the 2007 Toronto International Film Festival, September 6th to 15th. Brought to you by Space.
Cast up onto the stage?
I would, and I'd also like to ask our screenwriter, John Stryzik, to join us.
John, where are you, John? So I'll start off with some questions. Okay, why did you choose this story? And how did you decide to kind of twist it?
I think the stairs over here.
Well, you know, this actually happened about 5 years ago, and it was, you know, the newspapers, and I was reading about it, and I was just completely amazed by this story. It was an unbelievable story, and I realized that the things that happened... Real life is much more horrifying than anything that you can dream of, is what I realized. And so started talking with John Stryzik about adapting the story into a film. John, come on. We worked on the script for, gosh, a year and a half or almost 2 years.
Many drafts, yeah.
And we were sticking very closely to the facts, and I would say the first half of this film is pretty accurate in terms of everything that happened. But the more we worked on it, the more we started thinking, you know what, we want to see what the way it should have turned out. And so we took some liberties with it. We changed things around a little bit.
Which is, that's your want to do that.
Well, whatever want means.
Yeah, right.
Because in reality, he died?
Yes, he did die. He died after, he was in the garage for 3 days.
Oh!
No.
And he bled to death. And when they autopsied him, they found that if he had been taken to a hospital, none of his injuries were life-threatening. That he just bled out, you know, and he did have many conversations with her, like the ones in the movie, where he was pleading with her to get help or get him to a doctor, and she just was kind of waiting it out, and did enlist her boyfriend to help.
Yeah, and she would come out and apologize to him and say, "I'm sorry," and that's all pretty accurate.
Yeah, it is. And so he never did get out of the windshield in reality.
And how was it discovered?
It was discovered because she told other people, like the character of Tanya. She started talking about it.
Oh, hi. Hello. Yeah, she kind of slipped up, and she was, in a sense, bragging about it. And then they found the car, and it had been stripped, right?
Yeah.
There'd been some treatment done to the upholstery.
They tried to set it on fire.
Yeah, and obviously that was a telltale sign.
And they found
I think the windshield was missing. That was kind of a telltale sign.
Yeah, and they found his body, and then they pretty much rounded everybody up pretty quickly. And her boyfriend, I believe, turned state's evidence on her. So she is now serving a 50-year term.
50 years to life.
Yeah, for and I believe it was for manslaughter, not murder. Murder. Yeah.
Well, they couldn't convict first degree. The prosecution, their argument was that Shantae prevented him from any form of survival. by keeping him in the garage. So that's the thing, it's a tough thing. How do you prosecute someone in a situation like that if it's not intentional?
You mentioned earlier that this is your return to Midnight Madness because I had the pleasure of hosting you when we had you here for Jonas Ackland's Spun.
Thank
So it's great to have you back on stage again. And I mean, your character in Spun is pretty unglamorous. And this character is also not exactly a glamour queen. What attracted you?
Really?
Sorry.
You didn't like my nail? But what was, I'm sorry,
What attracted you to this character?
Well, I guess it's just that. I mean, I love to challenge myself, and you know, at the time that I read this script, I didn't know that it was based on a true story. And it was the first time that my jaw had ever hit the floor, literally. At many moments reading this script, I just couldn't believe that this was, you know, what I was reading. And I was reading a book at the time called TIFF by Mary Roach. It's The Secret Lives of Human Cadavers. It's an amazing book, by the way. And in the book, they mentioned this occurrence, and that was the first time I put the two together. And it was more shocking to me, but. I worked with Stuart on Edmund before, and I think we share that similar interest in the dark side. So that it was several things that drew me to this project.
And how did you find the rest of your cast?
Well, I'd worked with Russell in Edmund also, and you know, it just seemed like the part for him, and you know, so that was easy. And then the rest of the roles came from auditions. You know, some here in Toronto, and some in New Brunswick, and a few in Halifax, and we kind of rounded up the rest of the gang. In Montreal.
I just wanted a job.
Actually, I just want to mention to old horror film diehard fans, there was a familiar name in the production credits at the beginning. Amicus. Does anyone remember Amicus? Amicus was a British production house which made some incredible horror films, including Tales from the Crypt. Can you talk a little bit about Amicus?
Well, Bob Katz has, you know, Re-Animated Amicus, you know, and he talked, you know, we sent him the script, and he responded very, very, you know, strongly, and he and Julie Moldo, who had been with the original Amicus company, you know, they just said, let's make this movie, and Bob rounded up the rest of the gang, and Jay Firestone, and everyone else in Image, and put it all together for us.